What's going on, South Gardens fam? What's going on? Y'all coming in, man? Drop a comment in the chat. Let me know where y'all tuning in from. As y'all coming in, man, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button, man. Drop a comment in the chat. I wanted to go live today and basically respond to not a question, but like a topic somebody wanted me to cover. I want to say. I forget the exact name of the subscriber who requested this, but basically what she was saying is she wants me to discuss the skills that's needed to maintain a homestead, and how to get started on developing those skills. You know what I mean? So I came up with a few skills that you're going to need as a homesteader to maintain your homestead, your farm. You know what I mean? And then also we're going to talk about how to develop those skills where you're at right now if you don't have a homestead. So, oh, Trey Niece, that's her name. Shout out to Trey Niece. But as y'all coming in, drop a comment in the chat, man. Drop a comment in the chat. I'm probably going to be on here for about 30 minutes, not too long. But so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5 skills that I think every homesteader needs. And this I did research on this and everything. You know what I mean? So these are the 5 essential skills that I think every homesteader will need to maintain a homestead, because when you're talking about farming, homestead, and living off the land, it ain't just all sunshines and rainbows and just beautiful breezes and beautiful scenery and chickens. No, it's work that goes into it behind the scenes, man. So there's a few skills that you will need, you know what I'm saying, going forward, and I'm gonna show you how to develop those right now where you're at. Because a lot of people think they got to get started when they get out on the land, when they buy the land, when they have the farm. No, you get started beforehand. You start doing research. You start mentally preparing yourself. You start doing little small things where you're at right now. You see what I'm saying? You start doing those little small things to help you. But I'm gonna just go ahead and get into it, man. If y'all coming in, drop a comment in the chat. Drop a comment in the chat. Let me know if y'all can hear me. Let me know where y'all tuning in from. Let me know if I'm making sense. Like, talk to me. Talk to me. But the first skill that is needed to maintain a homestead is landscaping. Landscaping meaning cutting grass, cleaning up your area, making sure your area is beautiful, trimming hedges, bushes, everything that comes with landscaping, even, you know what I'm saying, putting down mulch, straw. All of these things are needed. Okay, we got 7 people in. Y'all drop a comment in the chat. Let me know where y'all tuning in from. Let me know if y'all can hear me. But landscaping, right? Because this is the thing. You want to keep your area nice and beautiful. You see what I'm saying? You want to keep it nice. Now, I ain't gonna lie, a lot of times you might get behind because it's so much work, it's so much stuff to do on a homestead. Hey, y'all hit that like button as well, man. Please hit that like button if you're just coming on. But yes, you want to keep your area nice, but sometimes, of course, it might get a little junky or whatever the case may be. You might have been working on a project or doing this X, Y, and Z. So you got tools over here, you got this over there, whatever. But you're gonna need to know how to landscape. Sahil, what's going on? John Stewart says it's choppy. Is it still choppy? Let me know. If it's still choppy, I can move to a better space. Let me know if y'all can hear me, because I don't want to be talking for nothing. Let me know, John Stewart, is it still choppy? Let me know. But landscaping is, one of the first skills that is needed to maintain the homestead. Like I said, okay, it's fine. Thank you, David. I appreciate that. Is one of the first skills that come to my mind when you're dealing with homesteading, landscaping. You know what I'm saying? Like, when in the military, we call it area beautification. When I was in the Army and stuff like that, as a private, that would be one of the main things we would have to do. We would have to make sure the grass was cut, everything was weed-eated, everything looked nice, and maintaining that area, maintaining that look, because you want your area to look nice. You want it to look presentable, and you want to have that skill of knowing how to do that instead of hiring it out. You know what I'm saying? Because when you start homesteading, that's a lot of land. You're talking about an acre, 2 acres, 5 acres, 10 acres. Man, you can't call somebody out there every 2 weeks to come cut that grass. They're gonna be charging you an arm and a leg. So you gotta learn how to get on that riding lawn more. You gotta learn how to get on that zero turn. You gotta learn how to do that push more. You gotta learn how to get that weed whacker out. You might need to learn how to get that chainsaw, because you might need to cut down a small tree, you know, or cut down a regular sized tree, or a tree that fell. You gotta cut it in pieces and move it out the way or whatever. So it's like all of these things you need to learn how to do. So basic landscaping skills. Okay, so how do you develop that right now? How do you start developing landscaping skills right now? Okay, where do you live at? Do you have a backyard? Okay, so if you have a backyard, you need to start cutting your own grass. You need to start learning how to use a push mower. You need to start learning the basics of that. You know, putting gas in it, putting oil in it, you know what I'm saying? Learning how to use it. You know, see if you can get some experience if you know somebody with a riding mower. What's going on, B&G Outdoors? What's going on, family? Appreciate you for joining the live. But see if you know somebody with a riding lawnmower or a zero turn, to see how you can learn how to work it. You know, because you're gonna need to know how to do those things. Start getting out here in your porch area. Learn how to, you know, pull up weeds and mulch around it, and, you know, prune trees or whatever, you know, cutting down limbs and stuff like that. That stuff you can start doing right now. Just making sure the area you live in right now, the home, apartment, townhouse, whatever, making sure the outside of it is clean, making sure the outside of it is presentable, making sure the grass is cut, you know, making sure it looks nice. So that's the first skill that any homesteader is gonna have to know how to do is landscaping. The second one is animal husbandry. For those of you who don't know what husbandry is, or animal husbandry, is basically taking care of animals, looking after the animals, looking after your animals. So chickens, goats, sheep, turkey, cows, horses, dogs, whatever animals you're gonna have, make sure that you are, you know, you are well versed into keeping those animals. So you got to learn how to protect, you know, your flocks of chickens. Let's go. I'm at number 1. Yes, sir. Yep, most definitely. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate the love. You know, learning how to protect those animals, learning how to provide for those animals, you know, feeding those animals, seeing about those animals and everything that comes with it. You know, making sure when you building their habitat. Oh, that wind blowing now. I hope that wind ain't messing up the audio. Let me know if that wind messing up the audio. I would super chat, but I don't have money. Hey, man, your support and your comments is enough, man. I appreciate it. Whatever is on your heart, if you just want to like it, I appreciate anything, man. 18, nope. I'm not sure what you're referring to, 183307. But, what was I saying? Okay, yeah. So building out the infrastructures that house. Yeah, building, okay, oh, that's what you're saying no to as far as the wind, got you. Okay, building the infrastructure to house those animals, to make sure they're protected from the elements, to make sure they're protected from other predators and different things like that, making sure they have everything they need, making sure they're being fed properly, making sure they're being looked after properly. There's nothing wrong, there's nothing trying to infiltrate. Why are you wearing a Chinese hat? I didn't know it was a Chinese hat. I just thought it was a regular straw hat. My dad brought me this hat. I love this hat. But you need, so animal husbandry, you know, this is a skill that you're gonna need, especially if you're saying you want a homestead and saying you want to have chickens and you want to have goats and you want to have sheep and you want to have turkeys. Understanding that there's going to be predators that are going to be coming after your animals. Understanding that there's going to be, you know what I mean, natural disasters like maybe hurricanes or whatever, floods. So making sure that they are properly put up so that's not affecting them. You have to learn how to, you know, you have to learn how to be a good husbandman. And that's like a biblical term, husbandry, husbandman. You know, it's just looking after and caring for animals. So how do you start learning animal husbandry where you're at right now? There's places you can volunteer at, you know, farms that were, or homesteads in your area. If you look on Google, you may be able to volunteer on their homestead. You know, you might want to go to a petting zoo and start asking questions. Okay, what do you feed these animals? You know what I'm saying? What are you feeding these goats? Oh, why do you feed them? Start asking those questions so you can get a better understanding. Start researching. I have cows and chickens and goats. Oh man, that's what's up. What breed of goats do you have and what breed of cows do you have? And when it comes to this husbandry, if you got any tips, B&G Outdoors, drop them down in the chat. But this is an essential skill if you're going to be living off of the land. You know, I know some people, they only want to garden, they don't really want the animals because they might be vegetarian or whatever. And to those people, you know what I'm saying, to each his own. But to the people who are saying, I want my own chickens for eggs, I want dairy goats, I want meat goats, I want meat chickens, I want cows for this, that, and the third, I want sheep. Okay, you're gonna have to learn how to take care of those animals. You're gonna have to learn how to make sure that not only do they survive, but they thrive. You know, they have the best food, they have the best, you know what I'm saying, just area to graze in and all of that type of stuff. In Saudi Arabia, we built a stone house for goats because it's better than wood and it's so warm and perfect. Oh wow, that's amazing. Is that super expensive to build? But I do agree that stone is better, or you know, even concrete. I believe it is better than wood because it'll hold up over time. I have dairy cows. I don't care what breed, and my goats are mini goats. Oh, okay. Are they like the Nigerian dwarfs? And I definitely want to get dairy cows, but I want to get a dual purpose breed of cow that can produce a lot of dairy, but also gets big enough for slaughter, you know what I'm saying, and it'll provide a high yield of meat. So that's what I've been kind of looking into. I'm looking into the Zebus right now, but I also looked into the Dexters and the Jerseys and all of that. So I'm gonna just keep an eye out. No, we take it from the mountains free. Oh, okay, so y'all source it for free. Man, that's good. That's using what you have, man. And I'm a big advocate of that. Using what you have, saving as much money as possible, you know, when it comes to building, when it comes to doing all of these things, you know what I mean, to farm and to homestead. Somebody, oh, they're Nigerian dwarfs, got you. Okay. But yeah, using what you have, what they call upcycling. Or, you know, if you have, you know, timber on your land. I have timber on my land. So when I start cutting down these trees and clearing land, I'm going to save a lot of this wood for projects, for infrastructure, for different things that I can build, or you can use it for firewood, whatever the case may be. But using what you have, man, instead of going out and buying and spending all the time. But animal husbandry is a skill. So how, like I said, how you start developing this skill is you can see if you can volunteer on somebody's farm. You can see if you can volunteer on somebody's homestead. You can start going to petting zoos, start asking questions, you know, feeding the animals at the petting zoos. You know, if you have just one animal right now, a dog, a cat, or whatever, you know, just making sure you are intentional about them thriving. You know what I mean? Feeding them the best things. This is how you become a good husbandman, you know, and good in taking care of your animals. People will pay for your lumber as well. Yeah, most definitely. I definitely I know that. I just got to figure out how to go about it. Like, will they pay me if I'm the one that, you know, clears the land and provides the lumber, or will they come and clear the land for me and take the lumber and, you know, we work out the deal? I got to see how that works. I never really looked into it because I got a lot of projects. I ain't gonna lie, I got a lot of projects before I get into the land clearing phase. But that's the second skill that you need to maintain a homestead, knowing how to take care of your animals. And you can start now by you could do research, start buying books. That's another thing. I'm a big advocate for books because of the simple fact is this. The internet is good. The research you can do on the internet is good. YouTube, all of that. I definitely recommend that. But in the event where, let's say you live somewhere where the internet is not easily accessible, or let's just say the internet goes down for whatever reason, you will have a hard copy of a book, you know, that you can always reference. You see what I'm saying? Ebooks are good, but I believe hardcover books, physical books are better because you can always reference it. You can have it for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying? Even if the internet goes away, you still have that book. But I'm an advocate for buying books on stuff. So you can, they will come and pick the trees they want. Okay, who do you suggest I reach out to for that? My goats are the Nigerian dwarf. I asked my grandpa. But good for clearing land and making money. Okay, I'm not number one anymore. Oh man, oh, Halifax #1. Oh man. But yeah, so buying, because I have books, local arborist. Okay, thank you for that, Halifax 177. I appreciate that. Thank you for that. Before I owned goats, I bought a book about goats. Before I even bought a German Shepherd, I bought a book about German Shepherds. Before I bought turkeys, I had a book about turkeys. Before I bought chickens, I had a book about chickens. You know, so it's like, doing your research first, doing your due diligence is how you become a good a maintainer of your animals on your homestead. Because you saying you want all these animals, but if you don't know how to take care of them, if you don't know how to make them thrive, then it's going to be a waste of time. So that's a skill needed. You can start developing that now by doing research and different things like that. All right, the third one, basic carpentry and construction skills. This is the hardest one for me. I'm better at it now. I can build basic things now. I have a German Shepherd. Okay, that's what's up, B&G Outdoors. I breed German Shepherd, so if you're ever in the market for one, let me know, man. Drop a comment or something like that, and drop your email if you're interested, if you're ever in the market for one. But I breed German Shepherds. I'm actually about to have a litter this month, later this month. It will be registered and everything, ACA registered, American Canine Association. But anywho, oh, basic carpentry. I lost my train of thought. I got my little paper right here because usually I have my notes on my phone, but I'm going live from my phone right now. But basic carpentry and construction, this was one of the hardest ones for me because I'm gonna be honest, although I'm halfway decent at building things now, I still don't like building stuff. I hate building. I hate it. Well, I ain't gonna say I hate it, but I don't really like it. It's not my first, choice. Once I get into it now, once I get into my groove where I'm doing it, I'm in the thick of it, I'm cool with it. But it's just like getting started because it's so dreadful to me. It's one of those things that are dreadful. But you have to have those type of skills especially if you want a homestead, because you got to learn how to build the infrastructures to house your animals. You got to learn how to build the infrastructure around your garden beds, all of these different things. You need infrastructure to grow food. You need certain, buildings and different things like that to house animals. Beekeeping, all of that type of stuff, whatever it is you want. Let's just say you want dairy cows or you want dairy goats, you need to build a milking stand if you don't want to buy one, because you're going to save a lot more money building things than just buying things. So like I see a lot of times they be having the dog kennels for sale, like the little metal ones, and those are good, they're good quality, but I can spend half the money and build it myself out of wood and other materials that I already have on my farm. So I can save a lot of money versus going and buy a brand new dog kennel, you know what I'm saying, that's metal, but I still got to put a roof on and all that type of stuff. Now that's like $200-300, where I can spend $75 on wood, and another $25 on, extra materials that I may need, and I can build that out myself. Same thing with chicken coops. You could buy the ready-made chicken coops or whatever, but it's going to be better if you build your own, because the ready-made chicken coops, a lot of them, they don't even house that many birds. And I'm not sure if y'all ever looked into buying a chicken coop, even the little small ones, they starting at like 200, 250, 300, that whole 5 chickens. And I'm like, what? The money that you spending on that, you can go buy wood to build you a big chicken coop that can hold 20, 30 chickens. My German Shepherd is pretty old. I might need a new one. Yeah, man, let me know. Let me know. I do deliver, German Shepherds or whatever, what I'm saying? We can work out different things. If you're ever in the market for one, like I said, the work sucks, but once it's done, it feels so rewarding. Exactly. The work does suck, but it don't suck all the time, though. I ain't gonna lie. It sucks sometimes, when you really don't have it to give. But when you get in those times to where you just motivated and you thankful, the work doesn't really suck like that. But when it does suck, it does suck. I'm not gonna lie. But like you said, once it's done, once you can look back on that thing that you built or this thing that you just put into place, whatever, it's so rewarding and fulfilling, because you know what was put into it. You know that you took your time, you made it a quality infrastructure, whatever it is you built, garden bed, whatever. You made it to the point to where it's quality, it's gonna last a long time. You put your own blood, sweat, and tears in it, and so it's very rewarding. So I can maybe get a new German Shepherd soon. What state do you live in? I live in Georgia. I live in Southeast Georgia. Overpriced like crazy. Yeah, man, those chicken coops be overpriced. What's going on, Angie, baby? I appreciate that. Welcome to the Sap Gardens family. But and this is a quick caveat, but this is day 1 of my 30 days straight of going live. So every day this month I'm going live. And if y'all have any topics y'all want to discuss, please drop them in the chat, or please drop them down in the comment section below. But anywho, those things be overpriced like crazy. Things that you want to buy brand new for your, say for instance, you want a brooder box for your chickens. to go and buy one, it's gonna be like $100. It's gonna be a pretty penny, but you can go buy some 2x6s or some 2x8s and just build it out of that. You see what I'm saying? And you only spent $40 because you already had screws, you already, the wood you probably bought, or you had some laying around. So you're saving money. You're saving money there. If you don't have to buy it brand new, don't buy it. If you can. And also, this is another thing, this is another cheat code. Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, these different things, like for instance, right? I have a goat or sheep transporter. It's like it's like made out of steel or aluminum, something like that, some sturdy material. But I bought it. It was $400, right? And I bought it because it was an investment. This is how I transport my sheep and goats. But before I had that, you know how I transported my sheep and goats? I built a transport box out of wooden pallets for free that I got from Lowe's. So I just built the wooden pallets, and it fit. I built it to the dimensions of my pickup truck, and it fit on the back. And I just put like a little tarp as the roof, you know what I mean? And I had a little makeshift door, and I was able to transport sheep like that. So it's like using what you have and not always buying, but learning how to build things, learning how to become handy. So some things you can start doing right now is DIY projects at your house, wherever you're at, in your apartment. Let's say, you need some new cabinets. Start learning how to do a DIY project on cabinets. Start buying the tools that you're gonna need to do those DIY projects, because the tools, there are a few tools that you're gonna need across the board. That's a drill, a power drill, an impact driver, a circular saw, screwdrivers, of course, wrenches. I'm trying to think of any other tools. If y'all think of any, but I think that's pretty much it. Like if you got a drill and you got a circular saw and tape measures, of course, different things like that, driving things for driving nails, like the screw and stuff like that, and circular saws, because you might not need a miter saw right now. You got a circular saw, whatever, but there's a few major tools that you're going to need, right? And you can start buying those tools now, so when you do get on your homestead, you already have those tools, and you can do those basic construction or carpentry projects that need to be done. I live in Kentucky. Okay. Yeah, I don't like Craigslist because there's a lot of scammers. First off, shout out to Kentucky. I love the state of Kentucky. I've been to Kentucky a few times. I love Kentucky, but I could definitely deliver to Kentucky. And also, too, when it comes to Craigslist, I do sell on Craigslist, but when it comes to Craigslist, like you said, it is a lot of scammers. So one thing I do, I leave my phone number. And before I even put somebody on my, reservation list for a puppy, I like to have a FaceTime call with them. I like to show them the mom, the dad, and the puppies once the puppies are born. And I like to answer any questions they may have. But I also ask questions as well, because not everybody is fit to own a German Shepherd. You know what I'm saying? Because they can be a lot, especially if you don't know what you're doing. But yeah, definitely hit me up, B&G Outdoors, if you're in the market for one. Hammer. Oh yeah, a hammer. Hammer is necessary. That's another one of those tools. A hammer, screwdriver, impact drills, all of those type of things. What you mean? Why would you need a hammer for that? You will need a hammer to drive nails. Yeah, you need a hammer. You need a hammer for basic construction and different things like that. Basically, you need a rough framer's kit. Yeah, I didn't know the word for it, but yes, rough framers kit, facts, and all gods, AFW. I don't know what AFW mean. I'm sorry. That's a good idea. Yeah, most definitely, man. I just like to be ethical in how I do things. High energy dogs. My parents just got a Timberwolf Husky mix. You need land for them to run. Exactly. And yes, all German Shepherds are not equal. I breed companion grade German Shepherds, but they do still have a high prey drive. That's just in the breed. But I breed companion grade. My dogs have high emotional IQ, or what they call EQ. They have that. They are able to be the best companions and loyal dogs all around. They listen. They're obedient. But sometimes, like all dogs and puppies, they get a mind of their own and they want to not listen and stuff like that. But my dogs are definitely companion grade, and they're not to the point to where they're like always in overdrive. They're able to focus and things like that. But yeah, I forgot, it's the Black Amish. HHIC. Yeah, man. I think you was are you the one who was on the last live who was saying I had the Amish hat? I have a GSD and pit bull. Man, my pit is just a lot. Oh yeah, yeah, pit bulls, man. Shout out to the pit bulls. I started off in pit bulls, growing up owning pit bulls and stuff like that. But I just like the German Shepherd. You know, I love the look of the German Shepherd, but I also love the loyalty aspect of the German Shepherd. Like my dog, my first German Shepherd I ever bought, Chase. He's a solid white German Shepherd. Chase, I'm talking about whenever I leave out of his sight, he started going crazy. Cause I have him in the fence, in my backyard fence. Cause if I let him out, he gonna run down the street somewhere. But every time I leave out of his sight, man, or if I'm around another animal, he hates it. He goes absolutely crazy. You know, he always want to be by me. Man, I remember times he's protecting me from other dogs. And that's just something that's just in the breed, to be that protective force. Yeah, my GSD, Joe hands attached for real. Yeah, they are, man. To my hip, yeah. Yeah, no JK looks cool. I appreciate it. Yeah, yeah. But anywho, basic let me get back on topic. Basic carpentry and construction are skills that you're gonna need to be a homesteader, because you're gonna have to build stuff. That's just, it's no way around that. You're gonna have to repair things as well that may break. You're gonna have to learn how to put up fencing and different things like that. So having the skills, having the tools, you know, to have those skills is necessary. So how do you get started? Like I said, start doing some DIY, some small DIY projects right now. Start building some simple structures. Start doing some simple repairs around the home, you know, of things that need to be repaired or whatever the case may be. But you need the skills of basic carpentry and construction, because there's no way around it. Animals got to have somewhere to live. You know, you're going to have enclosures. You're going to have things that you build. The fourth one is mechanical skills. So fixing and operating farm equipment. So when it comes to those mechanical skills, like let's just say your lawnmower isn't running for some reason. For example, my riding mower that I got it from a good friend of mine. He gave it to me. But at the time he gave it to me, it wasn't really running. You know what I mean? Like it may crank up or whatever, but it wasn't really running like that. So I figured out what it was, and YouTube is gonna be your best friend. YouTube is gonna be your best friend. I just went on YouTube, I researched some things, I went on Google, researched some things, and I figured out, okay, let me test the battery. Okay, it needs a new battery. Okay, let me go and buy a new battery, and let me look up how to install it, instead of getting somebody to come here or take it to a shop only for them to replace a battery it's gonna cost me probably $50 to $100 when I can just do it for free my own self, and I can learn how to do it off of YouTube or Google. Good information. I'm making the jump very soon. I wish you the best of luck. I pray nothing but the best for you. Yeah, man, and make some content. You know, once you get your homestead, make some content, show people the process. But yeah, like I was saying, like a lot of things that cost you $50, $100, $200, $300, you can learn how to do for free. You know, just by having some basic mechanical skills, and you learn those skills easier than ever now, because you could watch a video on how it's done. You know, you see what I'm saying? You could change your oil by yourself. All you gotta do is watch a video and learn how to do it. So it's like learning those things, but you're gonna have to have those type of skills. Do you hunt? No, but I want to start hunting. I went hunting one time, we didn't shoot nothing, but I want to start hunting either this year or next year. But no, I don't hunt as of right now. I fish though. I fish a lot. But let's just say, because this the thing, like when you own a farm or a homestead, one of the main pieces of equipment you want to have is a tractor. I plan on getting a tractor in the near future, of course. But a lot of times you might not want to buy a brand new tractor. You might want to buy one that's used. And when you buy one that's used, then you're going to need to learn how to, you know, fix up on certain things, because it may not crank up all the time, or it may not run all the time, or some things might be wrong with it. So, you know, it's pretty much something that you're going to have to work on. You know what I'm saying? On a day in, day out, whatever. But you need the skills of basic mechanic. You don't got to be no full-time mechanic or whatever the case may be, but just the basic skills on how to get something running. You feel what I'm saying? And there's no better way than YouTube, Google, ChatGPT, but mainly YouTube, because you get to see it in real time on the video. So that's how you can start getting those skills as far as fixing and operating equipment is on YouTube. That's another thing, operating equipment. So let's say you got land to clear. Like myself, I got probably 4 acres that I need clear on my land. What is the biggest bass you ever caught? Probably like 3 pounds. Matter of fact, I got a picture on my Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, go follow me. I post pictures on, different fish I catch. I post those on Instagram. Um, but yeah, probably about 3 pounds, 4 pounds, nothing too crazy. But dang, what was I saying? I think I was talking about YouTube and getting the basics. Oh, operating equipment. So like I said, I got like 4 acres that I need cleared. When it's time to clear it, I'm gonna clear it myself. So what does that mean? I have to learn how to use the equipment needed to clear that land. Skid steer loaders, whatever, whatever it is, backhoes, all of that type of stuff. I need to learn how to do those things. So learning, in addition to learning how to repair, you know what I'm saying, basic things on your equipment, learning how to operate that equipment as well is imperative as a homesteader, because the goal about homesteading and self-sufficiency is to save yourself as much money as possible and to provide the things that you need on the day-to-day. So if you constantly got to outsource things because you didn't want to take the time to learn it, that isn't true self-sufficiency. All right, and the last thing is this. The last skill is veterinary basics, meaning administering shots, dewormers, different things to the point to where your animals can remain healthy. That kind of goes in with husbandry, but it's kind of different because of the simple fact of you're administering certain medicines and things like that to the animals. Like I said, the vaccines, the dewormers, learning how to do that, it's imperative because your animals are gonna get parasites. Your sheep is gonna get parasites, your goat's gonna get parasites, your chicken's gonna get parasites, your dog's gonna get parasites, you gonna get parasites. So learning how to deworm, learning how to look for those things though, because it's not just enough to know how to administer them, but learning how to look and spot those things. So if an animal is laying down a little bit too long, like this sheep, all the rest of my sheep, they up grazing, running around, but this sheep is just lethargic. She or he is not getting up, they just sitting down, but for an extended period of time. That's something that you have to, be able to look at and keep an eye on and say, okay, something's not right. Let me check to see, if they have parasites. How do you check if a sheep or a goat have parasites? You're looking at eyes. The eye's supposed to have a little, where they, kind of look under and stuff like that. The eyelids, it's supposed to be a little pinkish. But if it's solid white, that lets you know that they have a heavy load of parasites somewhere. So that means you got to jump into action and deworm and take those measures to save that life, because it could be a matter of life and death, within days. That sheep can die within days or a day, you know what I'm saying, depending on when you catch it. So it's like you got to be able to recognize these things and spring into action. Like, for example, my puppy, my German Shepherd puppy, who I got off of this last litter, I kept a male and a female, for my breeding program. But the female, I was noticing, she wasn't really gaining weight. But she was eating, but she wasn't really gaining weight like that. And it got to the point to where I started seeing her bones. You know what I mean? And I'm like, this ain't normal, And so I started kind of paying attention to her and just little odd things and stuff, And so I was like, she needs to be dewormed, you know what I mean? And so I dewormed her. I gave her a good quality dewormer. And like within the next 2 days, I saw a complete change. And I also saw the parasites that she pooped out. You know what I mean? It was a tapeworm. So I saw that she pooped it out. So it's like knowing how to recognize these things, knowing how to recognize these signs when you are a homesteader. You got to learn how to do that, because if not, you'll have a lot of animals dying. Same thing with chickens. You need to recognize that they help, because chickens are low maintenance, but at the same time, it gets to a point to where they need deworming. They need certain things to boost their health. Like something I do every now and then, probably like once every 3 weeks or once every month, I'll add apple cider vinegar into their water. I'll add little diatomaceous earth into their feed. You know what I mean? Make sure you're cleaning out their coop, all of that type of stuff. And make sure you're paying attention, because the same thing, chickens, when they stop acting normal, they start sitting down and just being lethargic and not being interested in stuff. That lets you know that there's something going wrong. So you need to learn that. And how do you start those veterinary basics now? Like I said, research. Do research. If you have animals now, start. He says, I caught a 7-pound bass in a small pond by my house. Man, that's what's up. Congratulations. That's huge. 7 pounds, man. But yeah, start if you have animals now. Start seeing if you can make, because I I I do the vaccines myself. The only vaccine you can't do yourself for dogs is rabies. But the other ones you can go buy those vaccines from the store for like 15 bucks, and you can vaccinate your own pets. You see what I'm saying? Yearly, whatever. You know, if they're puppies, of course it's gonna be like every other month or whatever. But you can do that yourself. So those are things you can start learning how to do right now. But you need to have the veterinary basics down pat, knowing when to recognize when the animal is sick, what you can do. You know, if you own horses, you know what I'm saying, there might be something wrong with the hoof or whatever. So you got to learn how to do that type of stuff. Whether it's taking off the horseshoes and trimming the hooves and all that, that's another thing. Trimming hooves, goats, sheep, cows, they gonna need their hooves trimmed. So learning those things. But those are the 5 skills, the 5 most important skills, in my opinion, that are needed to maintain your homestead. And you can get started on those by just doing simple things right now, but mainly do the research. Mainly do the research. Also see about going and working on different farms where you can kind of just like, you know, be in the shadows and just kind of like an apprentice type of thing, you know, because I had a good friend of mine, he did that on the farm where he had an apprenticeship and he went and worked on the farm, so he learned a lot of things. So you can do that, man. Some people allow you to do that. But yeah, just starting where you're at, but just learning the basic skills. YouTube University will be your friend. Google will be your friend. The internet will be your friend. But you're gonna need these skills if you want to be successful at homesteading. Now, if you don't want to be successful and you just want to kind of be spontaneous and you don't really care what live or die and all that type of stuff, then by no means take this advice. But if you want to have a successful homestead, you need to have these skills. You can start working on them now. And then when you get your land, you'll already kind of have some of these things, and you'll have a reference point. You see what I'm saying? Before you got turkeys, you researched them, so you already know, okay, this is what I need to look out for. Okay, this is what they need. This is what I need to do, X, Y, and Z. You already got that in your mind. But yeah, does that make sense, everybody? X War, what's going on, man? Appreciate you for tuning in. How many people we got in here? 9. Hey, thank y'all for hitting that like button, man. I appreciate that. We got 16 likes. We got 16 likes. But yeah, let me know if that made sense. And if y'all have any topics that y'all want me to cover specifically, man, drop them down in the comment section below. Drop them down in the chat, man. I'll be sure to hit on them. You know what I mean? Because like I said, I'm going live for the next 30 days. So we going to have a lot of time to talk, a lot of stuff to talk about. So let me know what you want to talk about. But these are the 5 skills. So I'm going to just go over them again, and then I'm going to let y'all go because I need to put this phone on the charger. But landscaping, you need it. Area beautification, you know what I'm saying? You need to learn how to keep your stuff clean and your grass cut and all that stuff. You don't want snakes all in your grass because it's too high and all that type of stuff. So you need the landscaping skills before you go. Oh, hey, bro, I have a question for you. Yeah, shoot. Yeah, let me know. What's going on? What question you got? Animal husbandry, why he's, you know, getting that question. But animal husbandry is the second thing, protecting them, providing for your animals. Basic carpentry and construction skills, so building and repairing structures, infrastructure, you're gonna need that. Mechanical skills, fixing and operating farm equipment. Okay, landscaping tips would be great, gotcha. Okay. But mechanical skills, fixing it, and basic mechanical skills. You ain't got to be no mechanic out here, but just basic skills, learning what goes, where to locate things at on your equipment. You feel what I'm saying? And then veterinary basics,